Okay, so a little known fact. Not a lot of people know this, but maybe about 8 or 9 years ago, I tried my hand at stand-up comedy. And it turns out that I'm not funny. So let me first tell you why I decided to try it. Because I wasn't trying to be a stand-up comedian. I had, I guess, what could be described as a bucket list of things that I needed to do. And when I was in my mid-20s, I was actively trying to complete the things on that bucket list. And one of them was to try stand-up comedy. I'd always thought I was quite funny. and I guess I wanted to test that out in like a public forum. So there's a place in Manchester called the Frog and Bucket. And I was like, I'm going to book myself a slot at the Frog and Bucket. And what happens there, it's like an open mic night for comedy. And you have to beat the frog. Now, the frog is essentially 3 people in the crowd that hold up cards with a frog on it if they think that you're not funny. So one person can raise a card, you don't go off stage. 2 people, and you're like, oh my God, it's getting close. Maybe I'm not funny. Last person, please don't raise a card. And then they do. So I booked myself onto the comedy night, and I prepared. I wrote a script. Obviously, I'm not going to be one of those people that just shows up and wings it. And so about 2 weeks later, it's my time to perform. And I had like 3 bits, and I hadn't wrote them down or anything. I was just purely memorizing them. And I thought, okay, this could go well. I'm going to do it as best I can. I got called onto the stage, and I start going for about 30 seconds. And I didn't even get to the punchline of anything. And I heard like I heard like someone laughing at just like the tone of how I was talking, which I guess you would think is like a good thing. But it completely threw me. And I was like, okay, I don't remember anything now. So I'm 30 minutes into a possible 5-minute set. And people start noticing that I don't know what to say. I think that the compare of the night is like laughing. Other people are like, oh my God, this is bad. And I'm a big believer in personal responsibility. It's my fault. You know, I should have been prepared to be put off. I should have maybe wrote some bullet points down on my wrist. So people are starting to awe. And then I go, don't awe me. This is my responsibility. And I guess that maybe came across a bit aggressive. So from that point, I think there was already 2 cards up. And then the last person put their card up. And sure enough, I went off stage. And that was the end of the first time I tried comedy. And obviously I was pretty devastated. I didn't really get embarrassed because I thought I didn't really get a chance. So it was kind of cathartic in a sense. It was like I didn't really truly get to try. So it doesn't feel like a true failure. So the comedy night finishes and I go home. And then about a few days later, I think I should really give that a go. That doesn't even count as being ticked off my bucket list. So I decide I'm going to apply again. Same place. And then 3 weeks later, something like that, I'm back in the same situation. And this time I've gone through the script. I've kept the same script because I didn't get through it. So I thought I'll write the bullet points, these 3 bits. I've got 3 notes on my hand. I can't remember what the first one was. The second one said dog. I had a story about my dog. And the last one was a story about Morecambe Beach, which is a place in England where I'm from. And that is actually a really funny story. God, I didn't... Anyway, we'll get to that. So I get up and So I'm called up on stage again and I get up. And this time I last about 1 minute. And I get a laugh again. Just this little laugh that just throws me off my game completely. And it happens again. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a sign that I can't do this. And I think, okay, what I'll do, I'll address it with the audience. I'll just say, I was here about a month ago and the exact same thing happened. And everyone's laughing. So bear in mind, we're probably about 1 minute 30 into the set here. And people are laughing and everything like that. Because they know it's going terrible for me. And I actually get through Beat the Frog. The people in the crowd don't put up their cards. I have 0 material. And I reach for the next 3.5 minutes. I'm looking at my bullet points. I'm going, okay, well, the first one didn't work, so that's gone. Second bullet point about my dog. Completely forgot that story, so I'm like, okay, I love my dog. And people are just in hysterics because this is tragic. They're now watching a tragedy, not a comedy. And so I think about the Morecambe Beach story, and I have no frame of reference. I don't know. I can't think of anything. Nothing is in a timeline anymore. So we get to. I think people start realizing that this is no longer funny at about 4.5 minutes, but then they may as well let it go on. So I'm just kind of faffing around talking to them, I can't even remember what I was saying. It was horrible. And the buzzer goes off, and I get through. I'm one of about 6 people that complete Beat the Frog. And God, I felt bad as I go off stage, because that was even though, again, I forgot my stuff, it's there is a problem with me. It's not that I didn't get the chance, it's that I am freezing up in front of an audience. And I remember there was a comedian, I think it was Jim Jeffries, that said when he got booed, it affected him really badly, and he didn't do stand-up for a year. And I was kind of okay with the boos. I don't really mind anything like that, but it was you cannot do stand-up. I used to perform as a musician. I have no problem getting up on stage and stuff like that. Public speaking, though, is a whole different thing. And God, that was probably one of the most terrifying things ever. So we get through to the end of the night, and then they call everyone up on stage who beat the frog. And these 4 other people, they all legitimately beat the frog. They were funny for 5 minutes. And so 4 people are called up on stage, and then my name gets read out, and I'm in the audience drinking my sorrows away. And then as I get back on stage, I get the awes again, and the sympathy, some claps maybe, and yeah, obviously I don't win. You win a prize. I think you get to do a 20-minute set, at the next comedy event. Maybe you get to headline a show or something. Thank God I didn't win. If I don't have 5 minutes of material, then I definitely don't have 20. So, okay, so that all ends, and then I go outside, and someone comes up to me, a fan, apparently, and he was like, oh my God, I love that set. I was like, thanks, man. He went, it was terrible. I went, yeah, it was terrible. So from then, I pretty much accepted that I will never be a comedian. And I also wasn't trying to be. I also thought, I'm not going to attempt this again, because I feel like I'm kind of disrespecting the craft of stand-up comedy. There's a lot of people that really try, and it's not something on the bucket list. It's a lifelong goal, and it really wasn't for me. So maybe I'm just making excuses now. Maybe I really wanted to be a stand-up comedian. Who knows? But that is the tale of me attempting and failing at stand-up comedy.